Nerds Rising continuing to overfarm. Wild Charge will be returning Slowking to their Pokeball. What does the opponent want to come back in with? The opponent is going to send back out a Abomasnow. A Abomasnow can eat a Wild Charge to the face. Down goes a Abomasnow. The opponent's final Pokemon is Ferrothorn on minimal HP. Electrode says you can eat a Wild Charge as well. So, welcome back to the channel. Today we have another incredible battle submission from one of the best up and coming YouTubers on the platform, my good friend Nerds Rising. Make sure you go show him some love. He's almost at 500 subs, so after this video, let's get him to 500 today. He is going to show his incredibly high gameplay IQ with a very unique team. Spring Cup is coming to an end and I have not seen a single Hisuian Electrode, so today we're going to see how it does against the meta. We've got the double ice in the back, however we're not using the common Abomasnow. We've got the double spiel evolutions with Walrein and personal channel favourite Sealio. And in game one we lead Hisuian Electrode into Weezing. We attempt to catch an overheat on our Sealio. The opponent sends the brutal swing bait and Sealio super thick. The opponent now sends out Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn has a pretty good matchup here, however we've got the Aurora Beam ice type coverage. The opponent lets it go and Aurora Beam does quite a lot of neutral damage. The opponent does overfarm. Nerds Rising going to allow Sealio to go down Power Whip, returns us to our Pokeball. Nerds Rising has lost switch advantage, however we've got shield advantage. He sends back out his Electrode due to our grass electric typing. We do resist absolutely everything from Ferrothorn. Thunder, Flash Cannon, Power Whip, you name it, we resist it. We tank the Flash Cannon. Nerds Rising now overfarms, fires off the Wild Charge. Wild Charge is resisted but hits like a truck. Electrode is low on HP, however we've got residual energy, good to go. Back out comes Weezing and we're going to fire off Wild Charge number 2. The opponent commits that final shield and it's now time for 2 shield Walrein. The opponent has a boatload of energy. Are we going to call the bait? Nerds Rising last second shields and holy smokes is a good shield as the opponent full sent the overheat. They've got the flying toilet, or as most people call it, Pelipper lurking in the back. The opponent sends the Weather Wall after just 5 wing attacks. That's the easiest no shield of Alex's GBL career, as he's been to school and his counting is immaculate. For those of you still studying, it takes Pelipper 9 wing attacks, then 8 for the Hurricane, and Weather Ball is 5, then 4. Nerds Rising overfarm. This again is just a Weather Ball, another easy tank. We can then commit to the farm down. Out comes Weezing. We still have 1 Protect Shield remaining. Alex gonna commit it here. We should be able to outpace to the Earthquake, and Earthquake is gonna be all she wrote. GG's and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we see another Flying Toilet in the lead. Electrode loves to see it. The opponent pivots out into Ninetales. Alex looking to chip and dip. We fire off the Wild Charge. Does the opponent respect the damage? Yes, they do. Then we pivot out into Sealio, looking to catch the Weather Ball. The opponent showed great discipline, holding their energy, and they fire off the Psyshock. Sealio is not only quite a fat Pokemon, it's really bulky as well. That did absolutely nothing. The opponent going to fire off Psyshock number 2. Alex now overfarming heavily. Going to fire off the Body Slam. Body Slam will be secure on the knockout. And we've got a whole heap of residual energy. The opponent actually commits a shield, looking to flip switch. Alex knows he survives this. We've hit the CMP tie. The opponent now going to be forced to double shield if they want switch advantage. Let's see if they do. The opponent not willing to commit that final shield, so they did go down a shield and still lose switch advantage. Sealio still not done, fires off the Body Slam for some chip damage. We now send back out Electro and the opponent's got Ferrothorn in the back. Ferrothorn pretty bad. Well, I say pretty bad, it's pretty neutral. We're both hitting each other for resisted damage. The opponent fires off the Power Whip. Alex now going for the Wild Charge, also resisted, but stab Wild Charge does do quite a lot of damage because Wild Charge is a pretty good move. However, it does lower our defense. Alex fires off the next Wild Charge, looking to get this Ferrothorn into a range where Walrein can handle it. The opponent trying to Bullet Seed farm down, but Electrode putting in a whole heap of work. We now send out the Walrus. We've got 2 shields. Alex can just double shield, Powder Snow this thing all the way down, and that is going to be another dub. Alex actually chooses to throw the Icicle Sphere. Either way, this game is over. The opponent also thinks it's over, as you can see by the whole heap of lag they've conceded. Saying they've conceded is me being polite, because they've actually rage quit the app, which is super annoying because you're going to get this really annoying stutter lag every time you throw a charge move. So Alex deciding he's just going to Powder Snow down the Flying Toilet, and finally the game is over. Moving on to the next one. We see the Battler's Spice Hisuian Electrode into Slowking. We do have to be mindful this thing does have access to Fire Blast. The opponent looks to pivot out, catching a move on a Bomber Snow. Alex choosing to chip and dip. We fire off the Wild Charge, pivot out into the Walrus. Walrus does have to be mindful of the Energy Ball. However, this isn't the usual shadow on shadow crime we see on the channel, so Energy Ball won't one-shot from full health. The opponent went for a bait, and Alex is absolutely laughing. That was double resisted and did absolutely nothing. Alex now daring the opponent to Energy Ball. The opponent does send the Energy Ball. Walrein still hangs on. We make the next Icicle Sphere. Is the opponent willing to double shield? Yes, they are. The opponent really wanting to get our Electrode away from their Slowking, and I can't blame him, as Wild Charge will be one-shot and Alex comes into Sealio. We look to fire off the Body Slam before the Energy Ball. The opponent makes a savage catch, catching on the Slowking. We now make a catch of our own. Alex with 2 Protect Shields to hide behind. Shields up the Psychic. He can now overfarm. These confusions tearing us apart. Real nice overfarm. We've got the back-to-back Wild Charges locked and loaded. The first one deletes Slowking. A Bomber Snow does have a charge ring. I've got no idea who wins CMP. The opponent brings back in the Bomber Snow. They don't throw. Wild Charge is resisted, but still one-shots. The opponent has Ferrothorn in the back and Electrode. Still not done. Alex overfarms, throwing at the correct timing. You love to see it. When using 2-turn versus 3-turn, you always want to throw at 1, 4 or 7, and despite being debuffed, Alex still showed immaculate discipline. The opponent fires off the Power Whip. Sealio says, I'm far too thick. Again, Alex, despite being on minimal HP, throws 7 Powder Snows and the Aurora Beam. Aurora Beam doesn't knock out. We get Bullet Seed farm down, but 1 Thundershock is enough to take that game. I really love shoutcasting Alex's battles because he always throws at the correct timing, which is very visually pleasing to watch and also explains why he reaches Legend every single season. However, getting back into the commentary, we hard lost lead. Electrode into a Bomber Snow. Terrible. We save switch into Sealio and the opponent answers us with a Caracosta. This thing's a huge problem for Sealio, as due to their rock water typing, they resist absolutely everything. So Alex in a tricky spot. He's going to send out his Electrode. I already know he's going to commit to the farm down. He doesn't have to worry about any of these moves. Rock Throw generating energy super slowly. Alex gets the full Thundershock farm down. Back out comes the Snowman. We're going to chip it with the Wild Charge. Wild Charge is resisted, but it does a lot of resisted damage. We now pivot out into Walrein. We've got to be mindful of the Energy Ball. Alex has no choice but to shield. The opponent full sends the Energy Ball, then pivot out into Dugong. Dugong has an absolutely awful matchup here, so Alex, despite being down a shield, might be in a good spot. He full sends the Earthquake. The opponent attempts to call a bait and hashtag no baits on this channel. And if you're wondering why I said Dugong has a dreadful matchup here, due to Walrein's Ice Water typing, the Ice Shards and Icy Winds are double resisted, despite Water Pulse being an absolutely garbage move. If you're the Dugong, throw Water Pulse, at least it does some sort of chip damage. The opponent just spamming out Icy Winds and Walrein is just laughing it off. Alex has gone straight Earthquake so far. The opponent now in the red. They're going to fire off 1 more Icy Wind. That still isn't enough to knock out. We now pivot out into Electrode. We get the farm down. We banked all of that energy now. The opponent going to be forced to shield up this resisted Wild Charge. The opponent is going to Powder Snow farm us down. However, we've got the back-to-back Icicle Spheres locked and loaded. The first one draws the shield. The second one is going to knock out. Beautiful, beautiful endgame. Let's go. Alex taking full advantage of the misaligned switch timer and pulling off a very nice dub despite hard losing lead. In the next battle, we lead our Electrode into Wheezing. The opponent doesn't build up to the overheat, but they're running Sludge. What the heck? Who runs Sludge? And speaking of who runs that, the opponent apparently isn't a potato because they make a savage catch, catching the Wild Charge on Ferrothorn. As with double weak to grass in the back, especially Steel Grass, as our ice type damage only hits for neutral. Alex throws both Wild Charges, looking to put this in a range where Sealio can make it a lot more manageable. Sealio so thick. Power Whip doesn't do a whole heap of damage. Alex overfarms, fires off the resisted Body Slam. Body Slam not quite enough to knock out. However, we do Powder Snow farm down, maintain an alignment. Back out comes Wheezing. We look to throw the Body Slam. However, Wheezing wins charge move priority. Brutal Swing takes us out. This Wheezing running a really interesting moveset. I think this Wheezing is going to be absolute food for For any Marwile, the opponent pivots out into Walrein. Walrein will be committing a shield on the Wild Charge. Wild Charge does go shield of the Powder Snow, takes us out. It's now 2 shield Walrus versus the Wild. This is the bait game. Alex gonna commit a shield, hoping not to get baited, and the opponent full sends the Earthquake. Really nice shield from Alex. We now over farm, and you already know he's not baiting. He full sends the Earthquake. The opponent looks to call a bait, and hashtag again, no baits. Especially when you're up shields, I think the tendency is always to call a bait. So Alex does the correct play. He again shields an Earthquake. The opponent catches on Weezing. Weezing, weak to ground, Earthquake. Does knock out, despite an undercharge back out, comes the Walrus. Even with their shiny type attack bonus, this Earthquake isn't going to knock out Alex, is going to be able to go for double resist the Icicle Spheres. As they are so low, the opponent going to be forced to shield, which they do. We make the next Icicle Sphere, and that is going to be all she wrote. A very nice attempt from the opponent to pull off a win, but Alex says, no sir. Moving on to the next one. Yikes, Trevenant in the lead. Trevenant actually beats all 3 of our Pokemon, so I guess this is where you want to see it. The opponent probably thinks we resist electric, however Wild Charge still does 50% of the HP. Alex looks to catch the neutral Shadow Ball on Sealio, and the opponent full sends the Shadow Ball. They now pivot out into the toilet. We've seen just how thick Sealio is. The opponent is going to have to keep wing attacking us to put us into a range where Weather Ball will knock out. We're still outside of Weather Ball range. The opponent looks like they're committing to the full farm down. Alex commits to the Aurora Beam, forcing some energy from Pelipper. I really like that play, not allowing the opponent to farm us all the way down. We've gained shield advantage. We can now send back out Electrode. Hurricane will be neutral due to our grass electric typing. Alex commits a shield and he gets master baited. However, Alex just wanting to get rid of this toilet as soon as possible. He full sends the Wild Charge. He's looking to pivot out into the Walrus. It's a Walrus on Walrus in the back. Oh man, this is going to be tough. Alex committing a shield on the first move, thinking the opponent's unlikely to bait the first time. Good shield from Alex. However, this is still going to be a problem. Alex fires off the Earthquake. Earthquake goes unshielded. The opponent now sends back out the Energy Dry Trevenant. Alex fires off the Icicle Sphere just before they make a charge with the opponent shields. They are going to get off the Seed Bomb. Walrein will survive, but we're going to be so low. Seed Bomb gets us into the red. Alex commits to the Powder Snow farm down. We spam into Electrode looking to catch, and we do catch. Holy crap. What a play. The opponent doesn't undercharge. This allows our Walrein on minimal HP to make the Earthquake. Earthquake returns the opposing Walrein to their Pokeball, and that is an absolutely insane win. Moving on to the next one, we pick up a great lead. Electrode into Lantern, the opponent pivots out into Walrus, and Walrus will be committing an early shield on the Wild Charge. We then pivot out into Sealio. Sealio has a pretty decent matchup here, as we have got the super spammy Body Slam, whereas the opponent has to go all the way to an Earthquake. Alex committed a shield and he correctly shielded on an Earthquake. This should mean Sealio will be maintaining alignment. It's going to be Body Slam spam all the way. Body Slam with non-stab doesn't do too much. However, they do really start to add up. If you're wondering why I love Shadow Pokemon so much, look how little that Earthquake does. When you've got 2 bulky regular Pokemon battling out, matchups take forever. The opponent attempts to catch a move onto Lantern. We show great discipline, banking all of our energy and then pivot out into the absolute wall to Lantern Electrode. Due to our grass electric typing, water is resisted, electric also resisted. The opponent going to fire off the Surf, and that does nothing to Electrode. Alex going to return fire with the Energy Ball. Energy Ball does get same type attack bonus and hits really hard. Lantern now into the red. We can allow ourselves to go down, and this thing's going to be free farm for whatever we want to come in with. Alex comes in to his big fat Walrus looking for the farm down. The opponent only reaches a Surf. Surf not going to do too much to our Walrus, and we're going to leave with residual energy. A real nice play again from Alex, such a high IQ player. The opponent's final Pokemon is Trevenant. They attempt to catch a move. Alex now goes for the Wham Bam combo play with the BM Aurora Beam. We now Powder Snow farm all the way down. Back out comes Trevenant. Sealio already at the next Aurora Beam. This opponent in absolute shambles, and they gracefully concede the match with a shield intact. Moving on to the next one. Terrible lead. Nerds Rising gonna farm up fire on the CMP tile. Wild Charge are going to do a lot to a Shadow A9. The opponent commits the shield, and likewise Alex going to have to respect the Weather Wall, as with the debuff it would probably knock out. Alex now over farming. I see the catch, you see the catch, the opponent does not see the catch. Stay in school, kids, learn to count. It takes 5 powder snows for the first Weather Ball and then 4 for the second. The opponent comes in to Trevenant Sealio, so thick. We survive the Seed Bomb, however the opponent will not be surviving the Aurora Beam. Alex farms up 1 before the Seed Bomb. It's straight 5s for Trevenant. The opponent lets it go. We flip switch. Yet another absolutely immaculate mid-game. Alex playing impeccable. Back out comes A9 with double resist and the powder snows. We get to the first body slam. The opponent looking to farm down. They don't get there. This Sealio absolutely going off. The next body slam draws a shield and we pivot out into Walrus. Alex gonna shield up the side shock, looking to keep his Walrein super healthy. The opponent now sends out Tentacruel. Tentacruel isn't going to appreciate the Earthquake. Earthquake doesn't get same type attack bonus, but it is super effective. It doesn't one-shot, but gets Tentacruel deep into the red. The opponent firing off a move. It's only an Acid Spray. Walrein easily tanks it. Alex now gonna overfarm, fire off just before the next Acid Spray. Icicle Sphere will be returning Tentacruel to the Pokeball. Back out comes A9. We make the Weather Ball, and yet another beautiful dub is in the bag. And despite losing lead, we actually have all 3 Pokemon still alive. Moving on to the next battle, we see Tropius in the lead, so we pivot out into Sealio, and the opponent answers with Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn doesn't one-shot with the Power Whip because this Sealio is very thick. We fire off the Aurora Beam. The opponent lets it go. The opponent now over farming. We don't get taken out by this Power Whip, so an instant no shield. Sealio gonna be forcing a shield or switch. Let's see what the opponent wants to do. Sealio with the Aurora Beam locked and loaded. The opponent lets it go and they survive on 1 HP. Holy crap, worst case scenario. The opponent gets farmed down with a singular Thunder Shock. Due to Tropius's Grass Flying typing, the electric type damage does hit for neutral. Alex gonna allow the opponent to throw first, not wanting to debuff himself. The opponent just fires off a Leaf Blade that is resisted. He's now going to start unleashing the Wild Charges. Wild Charge goes unshielded, and that does a lot to Tropius. Alex gonna commit a shield here. The opponent again fires off a Leaf Blade, but as we're debuffed, that probably would knock out Alex. Now over farms, fires off the next Wild Charge. Does the opponent finally commit a shield? Yes, they do. We now look to snipe with the Walrus, and we snipe successfully. You love to see it. It's Marwile in the back. Let's see. Do we bait? Do we not? This is just a power-up punch. It is super effective, but not going to do a whole heap to the Walrus. Alex now continuing to overfarm, and again, there's no baits. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. Get absolutely wrecked, and we win another very nice game. Moving on to the next one. Electrode into Walrus. What a high-level play. Stay in school, kids. Learn to count. Alex farms up to the Wild Charge, knowing the opponent is going to throw on CMP because they lose CMP. So they would get to throw the Icicle Sphere at a debuffed Electrode. So Alex chose to catch the move on his Sealio. The opponent stayed in, fired off the Earthquake. Alex overfarmed and is now going to start unleashing the Body Slam spam. The opponent doesn't shield the first, but Sealio says, "Don't worry, buddy. Big brother, I've got plenty more of where that came from." Second Body Slam also goes unshielded. Alex now overfarms and says, "Have Body Slam number 3. Is the opponent willing to shield? No, they're not. We maintain alignment. Out comes Trevenant. We're going to commit to the Aurora Beam. Alex makes the beam. The opponent is going to need to shield, as Aurora Beam will be doing a lot. The opponent lets it go. Holy crap. It's a Bomber Snow in the back. This game's over. And just like that, we pick up the final impressive dub of the video. Wow, Alex, immaculate gameplay. Make sure you go check Nerds Rising out. He's linked in the title. Once again, I have recorded this after working my 6 straight 12-hour night shift. It's brutal out here. So if you're enjoying the content, consider leaving a like or a comment down below. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on my channel, a link to my battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I will see you all